I recently made a video about Karl Malone impregnating an underage girl that gave birth when she was 13 and he was 20 years old, and that video did very well. Even though this is primarily a sports account, a lot of the people that watch that Karl Malone video do not watch the NBA, and they're unfamiliar with who Karl Malone is as a player and why the NBA would be so quick to sweep this under the rug. So that's the purpose of this video. This is a Karl Malone player profile. In my humble opinion, Karl Malone is the greatest player in NBA history that does not have a championship. I have him higher all time than guys like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing. Karl Malone surpasses all of those guys. Karl Malone is a two-time winner of the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award. He is currently third all-time in points scored behind LeBron and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's also a two-time Olympic gold medalist in basketball, and he was on the '92 Dream Team. But what made Karl Malone so good? Well, look at the guy. Look at him. He is built like a linebacker. For him to be as tall as he is, for him to be as built as he is, for him to be as good at the game of basketball as he is an absolute anomaly. If he wasn't getting rebounds, he was running the open court and he was an easy find down the court. In the half court, he had a killer game, whether it was backing you down or with a soft touch from the mid-range. What truly elevated Karl Malone to all-time great status is the pick and roll that he would run with his point guard, John Stockton. John Stockton's got the ball right here. Here's Karl Malone. He's going to come up, set a screen on defender. Stockton's going to dribble right, and then Karl Malone's going to turn and roll to the basket, and that's the bread and butter. That's why Utah had so much success over the years and what made Karl Malone so great. They perfected this. And the results speak for themselves because statistically, Karl Malone was incredible. He was very good and very consistent for practically his entire career. Whenever you think of consistency and longevity within the NBA, Karl Malone should be one of the first names you should immediately think of. You should put him in that category with guys like Tim Duncan and LeBron James. But the knock against Karl Malone and by extension John Stockton is that these two do not have any championships because Karl Malone is not a playoff riser the same way as someone like Michael Jordan is. Despite the fact that Karl Malone has been a top 10 player in the league for practically his whole career and for multiple seasons a top 3 player and having a teammate that is arguably the best point guard of his era, they have not had a lot of playoff success. Like I said, Karl Malone has incredible longevity. He hasn't really missed any games. You could also say the same for Stockton, who's also just as reliable and as consistent as Karl Malone. Did you know that for Karl Malone's entire tenure with the Utah Jazz, they have made the playoffs every single year? Right? That's 18 seasons. In those 18 seasons, the Jazz are 9-9 in the first round. In 9 of those instances, they've made it out of the first round. Man, if that was LeBron, y'all be on his ass. Come on.